What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in anticipation for patch 3.05 that is just around the corner in a couple of days, let's break down the biggest mistakes that people are making in general that they need to iron out, and big mistakes that you need to avoid in patch 3.05. But go to the GameLeap website if you want everything you need to dominate within that VOD reviews, character guides, map courses, and much more on the GameLeap website down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, the first thing that you need to avoid at all possible, and it's something that a lot of people really have problems with, and it's worrying overly much about your rank at the start of a new act. You gotta understand that, one, they're doing a massive rebalancing where people are gonna be moving all over the place, and especially at the beginning of the act, your rank isn't really indicative of how good you are. It's gonna take a while for you to settle where you actually belong, and from there you can work on improvement. But at the very beginning, people really like to try to speed run to a rank, or they really start feeling bad if their rank isn't what they want right off the bat, which really shouldn't matter at all. You gotta understand that the act is long, you're gonna have a long time to improve over the course of it, and your rank's gonna move automatically. Now, the next thing you also need to understand is at the beginning of the act, there's a lot more smurfs than normal. A lot of people don't want to play on their mains yet because things can be a little chaotic. So there's a higher chance that not only will you run into smurfs, but also people that really are being placed in a rank they don't deserve. Maybe they actually are far better and they're getting placed against you. We've seen this many times when you had someone in Plag going up against Immortals and things like that. So definitely keep all this in mind. But this actually really ties into the second big mistake that a lot of people make at the start of an act. They care about winning so damn much that they are overly flexible early in an act. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with being flexible in general. If you have a high game sense, you know a lot about many different characters, you can play them, you can flex to them, but being overly flexible at the early part of the act is really preventing you from mastering an agent or really putting that time in to that agent to develop that mastery. You're gonna be decent at a lot of different agents, but you're not gonna be amazing at any one agent. And while I know sometimes you wanna flex to make sure you have a solid team composition, you want that controller, you want that initiator, everyone's locking duelists, so you're like, hey, if I wanna win, I wanna flex. But remember what we talked about at the first tip, do not overly care about your rank early. Worry about developing yourself and developing your skills. Now, am I telling you to insta-lock, to, jet every single possible game? No, absolutely not. I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am saying is don't flex just because you think it's going to give you the best chance of winning, when these early games don't really matter all that much and you're only hurting your own development as a player in the long run if every single game you're playing a freaking different agent. It's not that important to win every single game. You're trying to get maximum practice time on the agents you want to get good at in a tense environment. Now, the third big mistake that just is something that has been happening a lot, and it happens basically at every single rank, and it's something that I really want everyone to focus on for patch 3.05, is the concept of overcommitting. People think, hey, you're overcommitting, you mean overcommitting ultimates, overcommitting what? What do you mean by overcommitting? Well, overcommitting everything, honestly. The first thing is overcommitting abilities. Enemies poke at default for a little bit, and you use smokes, you use grenade, you use your recon dart, you use just down the line every single possible ability, and then you don't have a lot. You're not sandbagging anything. Another example is overcommitting position. Putting yourself in a position where if enemies push on and rush on, you have no exit strategy. You can't possibly play retake, and you basically give yourself far less options for no reason. You could position in a different place where you can kind of split the difference, where if you see an opportunity to get a pick, you can get it and run, or you can just dip out altogether if the enemy wants to invest tons of abilities. But if you put yourself in an overcommitted position, you never have that option. You don't have that flexibility. Another thing is overcommitting rotation. Still a huge problem, a problem that just plagues actually so many damn ranks, where if enemies are not completely committed, and I mean completely committed with confirmation, you should not be sending the entire team to rotate, because you could easily just give it up to a lurker that secures the other point, and then the team get to come onto that point, and you get cut off CT by said lurker. Now, there is something that you can do though, is as it's less and less likely that they're committing the point that you're holding, you can change your position on that point. Play a more passive position, a position that is easier for you to rotate from. You're basically setting yourself up to rotate if you need to, but you're not full giving up sight yet. You're kind of playing in this middle ground. You're not overcommitting to any decision, and you're allowing yourself the flexibility, because that's all this is. Not overcommitting abilities or overcommitting your position or preventing yourself from over rotating. These are all things that is going to give you the flexibility to make more decisions later on and not pricing you into a style of play or a decision before you have even gotten the information in the first place. And this is something that is incredibly important, and I would highly suggest you focus on this come patch 3.05, and I think that you're gonna have a much better time in general. Now, the last thing that I think a lot of people should definitely do if they want themselves to succeed in patch 3.05 and just develop better as a player is get that duo partner and start developing the strategy and the cohesion needed for a duo pair to be proactive and be powerful. So something that a lot of people underestimate is building a synergy between a duo partner. Sometimes people will find a duo partner and they're like, hey, we're popping off or we're not popping off. I'm gonna get a crack duo partner and we're gonna go pop off. But the thing is, there is a lot of synergy that if you stick with a duo partner over time, find someone in the GameLeap community, in the GameLeap Discord, and really develop that synergy. Not only are you working on that communication, but you're gonna be able to pull off a lot more joint plays, and there's gonna be a less RNG, right? You're not gonna have 4 brainlets on your team. You're gonna have an actual person that you can rely on, 1, and 2, you can actually make up some of the downfalls in your individualistic skill by bringing forth extra value with synergy, which is something that pro teams basically all do. That's like the building blocks for every single scrim team, is overcoming the individual mechanical skill, the individual decision making, and in fact with that synergy. And you can develop that on a small scale by getting that duo partner. And as an added bonus, you can go to the GameLeap website and both of you can learn high quality tips and tricks and master any agent duo partner together. But if you want to see a video with the best duos that you could possibly be playing, definitely smash the like, subscribe, and let me know down below. I hope you enjoyed the video, but definitely let us know what your big mistake that you see often that you want people to stop making in patch 3.05. But that's all I got for you today. I love your faces, and I'll see you next time.